You're sitting on the floor?
Yes, I'm sitting on a pillow on the floor.
That's great. So, how are you? How is the situation now in your place? You are living in USA, Wisconsin. Here is Tallinn, Estonia. We have 8 hours difference.
Yes, with the COVID-19, it's been interesting. So we are allowed to leave our houses.
Okay.
You cannot be in groups of 10 or more.
Hmm.
A lot of businesses are shut down. Only essential businesses are open, like the
Okay.
grocery stores and things like that.
I
Um,
see.
Everyone's complaining because they closed down all the salons and nobody can get their hair cut.
Oh, yeah, that's same here.
I never have fingernails anyway because
Look at mine.
we shoot guns. We don't need fingernails.
Yeah.
So we're good.
Okay. But here we can go only in two persons. We can work.
Okay.
We can work only malls, schools, kindergartens. Such kind of businesses are closed. But if it's not a mall, not a place where a lot of people can be all together, you can work. At least here is not so bad as in other countries.
Yeah, they closed all the schools, so Pixie is doing online classes. She stays at
Same.
home, and basically I'm her teacher.
Yeah, same here actually. Same here, absolutely.
And even though shooting ranges are considered to be essential businesses, a lot of them are closing anyway because they don't want the liability. If someone were to get sick and trace it back to being at the shooting range, they don't want to get sued.
That's same. But we can start.
Yeah.
We can start with our conversation. I will introduce you. It's Kita Busse. She's a first professional movement trainer, coach in practical shooting, and she has invented a special movement course for IPSCStore shooters, USPSA shooters, and it's focused on every single detail about shooters movement. So you are teaching people to move correctly on the stages.
Yes.
Can you tell us about how did you came into all of this? You have a medical background, and
yes.
How it is tied to IPSC area, and how did you realize that here is the area to work on?
Well, my job in the hospital was teaching people how to move efficiently after an injury or a surgery, things like that. So I understood body mechanics and helping people to move properly and efficiently. Well, in 2010, the first time I saw the shooting sports, it was in a very different place. So at that time, it was not as athletic as it is now. At that time, it was, a bunch of old white men with big beer bellies where they shoot really fast and then sort of waddle over to the next spot and then shoot really fast.
Exactly.
But they weren't running between positions typically. So the sport was just in a very different place at that time. So I was very confused about it being points divided by time and they're slowly moving inefficiently between positions. And the problem is in every other sport on the planet, you move differently than you do in our sport.
Exactly.
Because we have a firearm in our hands and we can't turn our body in certain ways because it's dangerous.
Yeah,
so we can't, our movement is limited. We can't move in the way that's most efficient for every other sport, which is why there wasn't much research into it to begin with. So I was able to take research from other sports and test it on some of our top shooters, figure out what things worked, what things didn't, and what things didn't matter either way. And of course, it's always evolving, standing on the shoulders of giants.
Of course. So what are the basic principles of this movement technique?
Okay, of course, staying down low is very important. Position exit, position entry. So when you exit a position, how you can move your body the most efficiently, and it's different for everybody's body type. There is no one standard way that's right or wrong necessarily. It's going to depend on how you're built and any history of injuries and things like that.
Of course.
It's also going to depend what kind of gun you're using, how much mass you have in your hand to pull yourself out of position using that gun. So exit and entry is going to be a little bit different for everyone, but I watch the students and I figure out how your body moves that's specific to you and how is going to be the most efficient for you to get out of position.
That is great. That is not so common for everyone. It's like personalized for everyone.
Exactly. It's personalized. I mean, there are common things and everybody does some variation of the basic techniques. So then the most important for position entry is just having the gun up and ready to shoot when you get there, and how to come in really smoothly so you're not overrunning your position, jarring your sights, or injuring yourself because your steps are not ergonomic.
Yeah, it is. Like,
it's very easy to pull a groin or bust a cap open.
Of course. What do you think, who is this technique is the focus group? Who is for? Can beginner shooters start using it from the start, or it's mostly for more advanced people, more experienced, who have some knowledges about shooting? What do you think?
I think it's good to learn proper movement technique from the beginning rather than training in something that's going to cause injuries or inefficiency. That being said, as far as my classes go, I will work with a beginner one-on-one, but I'm not going to work with a brand new shooter in a set. You know, they have so many other things to learn, and everything for them is low-hanging fruit. So in my classes, I want to have someone who's already at least shot a competition before. They know how to move around safely with a gun. Their gun handling skills are safe. They know
so you just want to focus only on movements, not on teaching how to handle the pistols. And I see.
Right. I want to focus on teaching them how to move. So I expect by the time they take my class, they already have the basic shooting fundamentals down. So we're building on that knowledge.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, how many people have already passed your class? Have you counted?
I think, well, since 2010, probably between 3,000 and 5,000.
That's a lot already.
It's been a lot, yeah.
Do you check some subsequent your students' overall results after they pass your class? Do you have comparison from what it was and what is now?
Yes. So I have a group on Facebook. It's called 180 Firearms Movement Coaching. So this is for former students.
That's what I have.
Very nice. Yeah, so the movement coaching page on Facebook is for former students, so I can keep track of their progress, and they can go in there and post videos and ask questions of each other too, because they've all taken the same class, and they can watch each other's videos and give each other feedback, which is actually part of my class.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
How to give feedback to each other, because that helps you internalize it and be able to self-diagnose.
Of course. Yeah. Do you have some top shooters that already use your technique?
Yes, there are several top shooters who do. Actually, I had to make a list. There are certain ones that, you know, we keep it confidential, but there are others that are okay with me putting it out there. So I've, of course, worked with you and Dimitri. I've worked with Paul Hagantonio, Max Leograndis, Jessica Hook, Craig Osborne from New Zealand, Garrett John Evans from South Africa. He's the national champion there. And Grant Chancellor Madison is also a national champion there that I've worked with. And a few
great
others.
portfolio. Great portfolio already.
Yeah. Oh, there are more.
Yeah, I believe that.
One interesting thing, though, when you first take the class, oftentimes you will see your scores decline in a match because you're trying to apply new concepts. I mean, of course, if you can do it in practice before actually going to the match and trying it, that's better. But a lot of people will go to, you know, a local club match and they want to try their new stuff.
Yeah.
And then they see their accuracy starting to decline, or things that they normally can do well start falling apart because they're focusing on something new. And that's totally normal to see that decline right after a class when you're trying to apply new concepts. But then you start seeing it even out.
Yeah, yeah. I also experienced that. So when you're going after the class to the competition, you just don't think about any shooting, about any alphas, just where to put your leg,
Right,
how to
right.
move your body.
When you start thinking about how to put one foot in front of the other, suddenly this normally simple task seems so complicated.
Yeah, it is.
But once it becomes subconscious and you stop thinking about it and just do it, then you see how much faster you are. And sort of as a side effect of moving efficiently, your accuracy improves as well because you're coming in more smoothly into position. You know, once you stop consciously thinking about it, trying to apply it during a match, once it just happens naturally, that's when you see your scores even out and your accuracy starts to improve sort of as a side effect.
Yeah. Do you have different levels, courses for different level shooters, beginners, advanced?
Yes. Yes, I do. So if it's a beginner shooter, usually I will do that as one-on-one or one-on-two as a private lesson. And a lot of times I will actually send those shooters to someone like Tim Herron, who can work with them more on the fundamentals.
Okay.
Then they come back to me and we work on adding on the movement to the fundamentals they learned from Tim. I also have an advanced class that talks a little bit more about the mental game and how to set up your training program.
Okay, that's nice. That's great. How it is possible to attend to your course?
I am very flexible, except right now when there are no flights out of the US and the ranges here are closed. But normally I will travel to you, and if you want to organize a class, you get 8 students paid and you will get a slot for free. I like to keep it a small class so everybody gets lots of one-on-one. It's a 2-day class. If I'm traveling internationally, we do a set fee, but within the US, I do 8 students for $4.50 a student. We keep it very small and manageable, lots of one-on-one, lots of individualized feedback.
Yeah, last year you were here with your course. All the participants from Estonia, other countries that came here for the class, they were very satisfied. And now they are asking when can we do again this course. So once everything goes better, we can schedule for some plans.
We had someone from Portugal. We had someone from Norway,
Denmark, Sweden, Russia, Estonia.
Oh, that's right.
So,
Russia.
Yeah, quite international team.
That was quite a group. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was fun. What countries did you travel for making your courses?
Oh, there are so many. I had to make a list too. Estonia, of course, New Zealand, Australia, Canada, US, South Africa, Philippines. I think there are more that I'm missing, but,
so
yeah, I go everywhere. If you want to,
you're really flexible.
I'm going to Bali, Indonesia this year.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
You had a lot of admirers around the world.
Yeah, we have a good time.
So I wanted to ask you about now situation. Now everywhere is a quite difficult situation in every country.
Yes.
Everything is closed, no any competitions, no trainings available. All people are sitting at home. What do you recommend them to do to remain into their competitive shape during this isolation time?
So you can be watching shooting videos, you know, all the things that you normally do, watching shooting videos, going on the shooting forums, reading shooting books, having discussions about shooting. You can do Vimeo FaceTime with the people you normally hang out with on the range and just talk shooting.
Yeah.
You can do dry fire, workout, send in videos for video reviews. I do video reviews on movement, and I know other instructors do video reviews on the fundamentals and other things that they teach in their classes.
We will talk about this a little bit later, but you mentioned about the book. You have published a book recently, last year. Can you tell us about it?
Yeah, this is the book. It is Smart Move, Economy of Motion for the Shooting Sports.
What is the goal, main goal of this book?
The main goal is to teach how to move efficiently, to cut off typically movement is the lowest hanging fruit for chopping the most time off of your stage for a field course.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to explain, well, this book explains how you can move the most efficiently based on what we know now. Of course, that's always evolving. We're always learning new things. But what we have now is better than what we had before. And I'm always still looking for more.
Yeah.
But with this book, I had some really great contributions from other top shooters. We've got Paul Haggs. Scott Green is a 3-gun shooter. Lubisha Momsilovich. Lubisha, I always butcher his name. Dave Savigny, Craig Osborne, Tim Herron, Eduardo Jacobos, Josh Fralick, he's another 3-gun shooter, Tim Yackley, 3-gun shooter. So
very famous names to everyone.
The things that I don't have the authority to speak on are the things that they touched on in here. So I'm a movement coach, so I wrote this whole book on movement, but then there are a couple of things that I would touch on, but I don't really have the authority to speak to, so I'd ask them to sort of round off those corners for me. And it's interesting seeing what they all wrote. Maria Gashina made a contribution on how to plan your stage.
I see.
How to select your target engagement order. So that was really nice.
So a lot of people were involved into this project.
Yes, a lot. I have a chapter on how to learn a skill in half the time. So this is a scientifically proven method for practicing that they use in all other sports. So, basically, you don't want to keep doing the same thing over and over again. That's called block practice. The only time you do that is if it's a brand new skill for you that you're not able to do. Then you do it over and over till you can do it. Once you can do it, then you randomize your practice between all the different things and bring up your skills as a whole. So this talks about how to set up your training plan like that. And that's sort of what the advanced class touches on as well.
So how do you recommend to read it to have maximum effect?
I would actually start with that chapter. It's chapter 11, way at the end of the book. Now that it's already written, start with chapter 11. That'll tell you how to set up your training, and then go back to the beginning and learn how to move. And I do have a chapter on the quiet eye as well.
I remember that.
That tells you how to program where your eyes go on a stage, which is
very
a part of movement that it's actually more important to program your eye movement than it is to program where your feet are going to go on the stage, because you go where you look.
Yeah, exactly.
So I might even go start with chapter 11, then go to chapter 5. And
we will remember. How do you recommend to use it while dry firing at home?
Well, I have drills. So if you go to the very back of the book, you'll see I have all of the drills and their page numbers here. So you can pick what your lowest hanging fruit is. Let's say, well, I just did your review and we talked about reloads. So I have the reload movement drill. And And this talks you through exactly how to set it up. And if you're too lazy to read all of that, go
you
to
can
the
see
very
pictures.
end.
Everyone prefer to see the pictures.
1, 2, 3. Look at the pictures, and 1, 2, 3. That's how you do it.
Yeah, everyone is so
Or
lazy.
you can
Better
read
to
all
see
the
the
stuff.
pictures.
Right. So everyone has a different learning style. Some people like to read all the stuff. Some people like to go to the sources. So in the back of my book, I have my bibliography that tells where I got all of this research from. So you can go to any one of these sources and look it up for yourself if that's how you learn, if that's your learning style.
Yeah.
I have a bullet point list at the end of every chapter summarizing it, and I have lots of pictures.
Yeah, that is good. That is very good. So now is the great time and opportunity to learn the book, to get some new knowledges, to practice dry fire, and prepare yourself for the shooting season opening. It should be opened one day, I hope. How it is possible to purchase your book?
It is available on Amazon, or you can email me at 180firearmstraining@gmail.com, and I can mail it to you directly. It's also going to be available for print in Europe. Right now it's available on Amazon in Europe.
Yeah.
But working with you at the IPSCStore, we're going to get it on the shelves there.
Yeah, very soon, I hope. I hope it will be available very soon.
Yeah.
So, you have mentioned about video reviews. So besides making movement courses for shooting groups and personal courses, you are also making video reviews. You're teaching online. So
yes.
How does it look like?
So you send me, if you're a former student, you get 4 videos. If you haven't taken my class before, you get 3, just because it takes me a little longer to explain. And it's $50 for those 3 videos. It should be a video of your whole body that includes your feet, so I can see exactly what you're doing. Make sure it's not just a stand and shoot. You're actually moving around on a stage, so I can critique your movement. Then I will run it through an app. It's actually Max Michel's Shot Coach app. So I run it through that app where I can speed it up, slow it down, stop it, draw pictures on it, draw angles, and I talk over it so you don't have to read anything. And then I will make drill recommendations for what I see that could help you. That's another thing in the book as well that's different. I have examples of common mistakes and exactly what it looks like. So that is another good thing to look at before you get too deep. Is look and see if you're making any of these common mistakes. Twinkle toes.
So you are describing the mistakes that a shooter does, and giving an explanation why.
Yes.
Why he do it, and you describing how to eliminate, what to do to eliminate these mistakes.
Yes, and I think it's also important to point out what you're doing well, because if you're doing it well and
everything wrong,
you're not sure, well, which things are good and which things are bad. So I try to tell you, this was done very well. This is an area you can work on. So you know which things you should keep on doing more of and which things you should maybe try something else.
So you are also giving some follow-up recommendation, what exercises to do to eliminate something, or how it goes?
Yes. So I will give you exercises to do, drills to do that apply specifically to your personal problems that I'm seeing.
So you have reviewed my video of my shooting stage, and I see that you really see all my mistakes. That's great. You explained to me what to do correctly, what I have to make differently, to make it everything properly. So I think it's really work when some expert gives an overview of your performing, And
it's
later,
very hard.
yeah, of course,
It's hard to critique yourself.
And you can see everything. You can see, of course, if you do, you recommend to watch your videos. Why? How do you shoot your stage for yourself?
Of
Since
course.
I know that some instructors do not recommend to see your stages. Otherwise, you will think that no, you will learn how to do it wrong. But what do you think about it?
I think it's a great idea to get videos not only of your stages in a match, but record your practice, and you might pick up things that you thought you were doing well, but you can see from the video that you're doing incorrectly. You see extraneous movements that you didn't notice when you were actually doing it. So it's important to do that, but it's also important to get feedback from someone else.
Yeah, from some expert.
They're going to
recommend you what to do also to eliminate all of this, to correct all your mistakes. So everyone will have will be able to see my video very soon on IPSCStore pages and Facebook, Instagram. We will post it soon, so everyone can see what is the video reviews are. So I think that now it is a proper time to announce our new challenge that we all together with Kita in IPSCStore have prepared for all our friends. Can you, Kita, speak about this?
Yes, starting on Monday, you can post one of your stage runs. Make sure it's a stage that involves movement, and we will vote for the best one, and the winner will get a free video review.
That's a great reward.
So you can post one video, just one.
So among all videos, we will choose one who will have this main prize from Kita.
Now, what I'm curious about is the person who gets voted for. Is it going to be like, wow, their video was the most awesome video? Or is it going to be like, that person really needs help?
But it's way to improve.
We don't know.
It's way to improve.
Right.
That's great. That's great. So very soon we will post the conditions of this new challenge. So everyone will see what to do and how it will be scheduled. So very soon on our pages, and starting from Monday, we will act. So don't miss your chance to participate. Okay. I hope we had a good conversation today and have a lot of interesting things to speak about. I hope that we could make some same conversation more. Maybe if you guys want us to speak about something, or you would offer to some topic to discuss us with Kita, you can put it into the comments, and we can answer. Or if you have some questions, we can answer you, and we can do it regularly if you want.
Sounds like fun.
So, okay, Kita, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Jana.
It was very interesting and useful, I think, for everyone to know something new.
Yeah,
so,
nice to see you.
Thank you so much. But nice to see you. See you.
Пока.
Bye-bye. Пока.
Пока.
Bye-bye.